Hello everybody and welcome back to Vlogmas. We have big updates. So the vast majority of the jumper is basically done. I have redone the ribbing, adding about 4 or 5 centimeters of the body. I know that is probably more than I was envisioning, but I was like, well, I have yarn, so why not? So the thing that we have left is now the collar, picking up for the collar and knitting around the collar, folding it, sewing all the ends. I would try it on, but I think we better just wait for the next time because yeah, I've noticed there are so many ends to sew in, and I'm afraid of pulling through the floats of the inside, which is, by the way, look at these floats. They're so cute, which is, yeah, dangerous. I don't want to destroy them. I think we have about another couple of hours of knitting to go, and hopefully by tomorrow I can get you a full view of the jumper done. Then we need to wash it, block it, and aggressively drying it because we are very close to the date in which I'm flying back home, and I want to bring this jumper with me for Christmas. And yeah, that's basically it for today as the update on the jumper. I'm still wondering what other colorwork jumper I could make next. I got, as I was mentioning, some of the baby merino yarn from Drops. It's a fingering weight yarn, merino wool, that I have knitted a jumper before. I loved it, so I'm looking still for a pattern for that jumper that will be my Christmas knit. There's no deadline there. It's just that I will be home for a while, living at my parents' place, which will mean that I'll be working from there. Sorry, I have no English this morning, as usual, actually. I'll be working from Italy for a week or so, and which means staying in my childhood bedroom basically 24/7 because we are an hour ahead in Italy, which means that because I'm working a lot with America, it means that I will be working till very late in the afternoon. Ergo, I'll be staying there. Because the internet is not great, I tend to concentrate everything in my bedroom type of space. So I will have a lot of time for knitting. And yeah, I'm looking for a nice little jumper, colorwork jumper project to do with that yarn. I would like to show you the yarn, which means I have to stand up, move the camera, take the yarn, come here, and readdress the phone. So I'm not going to do that, but I will show you the yarn I purchased tomorrow. It's a dark gray and a light gray combination. My usual suspects. You know myself, I'm a blue, gray, black type of person. Although, in all fairness, recently I discovered that I can wear browns and reds, especially. I think reds work very well with my complexion. Anyway, what was I saying next? That's basically it for today. As I'm almost done with this, I think I will end up knitting it quite aggressively today, so that for tomorrow morning I can give you a view of the jumper And also I want it in the bath for tomorrow morning, so that I go for a run in the morning, I come back, I squeeze all the water out of it, and I will put it on the blocking mat. Yeah, I think that will work. So, which means that I need to block this thing. The next thing, yeah, I am looking as well for another recommendation, books. I am lacking books right now. I have finished a couple that were mentioned in this channel before. One of which I adored, from Ildefonso Fontanes. I don't know if I pronounce the name right. He's a Spanish author. It's about a medieval story of a family living in the 1300 in Barcelona. It's called The Cathedral of the Sea, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Another one that I have not liked at all, it was called A Brightness Long Ago. I don't remember the name of the author. And to be fair, I finished it last night and I already removed the story from my mind. It was so bad. So bad. Just very cumbersome to read. Sentences were not constructed well, and well, English is not my first language, but then I went into Goodreads and I read all the reviews, and a lot of people were saying that it's not a great book. I should have read some reviews before blindly buying it and spend a couple of weeks going through that very difficultly. So now I have two options that I am pondering. One will be The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. It's been on my reading list for basically the last couple of centuries, and I am a bit intimidated by that, but it's something I really want to read. The second will be War and Peace, of course, by, is it Tolstoy? That has been on my reading list for the past 2 centuries as well. So I think I'm going to go for one of those, but the other part of me, after reading the Brightness long time ago book, I really need something that captures me, that brings me into a bit of escapism, is it called? Just completely block out and get lost in the book. I always mention The Pillars of Earth by Ken Follett. That was a 900,000 pages book, but it flew in a week. It was just a magic escapism moment, a break. So I'm worried if I read one of those big books, which, by the way, I will be reading in a translation, either Italian or English, because I don't speak either French fluently or Russian at all. So I'm worried that they will be another cumbersome, once again, type of book, just for the sake of a reading exercise rather than enjoying it. So I don't know. If you have any recommendation for me, any books that you absolutely loved, I do like myself a nice historical book like that takes place in the Middle Ages, for example. That's absolutely perfect. I don't like futuristic books or stories that are too fictional in terms of names and stuff like that. The problem with Brightness long time ago book, I promise you, I'll tell you the author in the next few videos because I don't have my phone or the book with me at the moment. The problem with that book is that it took place in fictional Italy, and the author gave people a really awkward Italian sounding names that A, wouldn't exist, and B, they were just like a big stereotype, which for an Italian, I was very annoying. And then places as well, like incredibly awful portraits of Italian cities. Like there was a place where they do a big race, where they did a big race in the book. It was called Bischio or Bischio. I have no idea how you would read that if with an Italian pronunciation or an English one. That it was basically a description of Siena, but it was so awkward, so stereotypical. Like, why wouldn't you talk about Siena? And that's it, like invent a story about Siena. There was the main god in the book that everybody was worshipping, this divinity was called Jad. And the main priest for Jad was the patriarch or whatever. And basically was Rome, God as the Christian, no God, and the Pope. Why don't you call them that? Why do you have to invent this type of fictional word that is basically a very bad copy of what already is there beautifully? That is something that, for example, Ken Follett does very well. He talk about real places as far as real can go, and real people as far as real can go. But you can, if you know a bit of history, relate to what's going on. The history in those books is kind of factual, although it's invented. The life of the people is invented, but the real history behind it is true. So yeah, you know what I mean. A lot of annoying thing. The only disappointing thing that I have is that those were 3 books a series, and I bought the 3 of them. So they're now there. I won't ever read them. I'm so hungry. I just lost a week of reading for that. Anyway, let me know if you have any recommendation for me. We have gone into the 15th minute of this ranting. I might cut this down, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.